Have you ever felt like your life is too boring or ordinary to be considered beautiful? Do you find yourself spending hours scrolling, watching other people's lives you've decided are more beautiful than your own because they're filled with high-rise apartments, the perfect that girl workout routine, and interesting cities? You probably spend so much time telling yourself your life will finally be beautiful too when you have more money, when you get invited to more parties, when you have an apartment with brand new appliances. You're spending so much time waiting for your life to begin that you're missing what's in front of you right now. And the secret is, you don't need to keep waiting. Some of the most beautiful moments are hidden in the mundane if you just take the time to notice them. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you my tips and tricks and realistic ways you can actually begin romanticizing your life today. Think of yourself as the main character and stop waiting for life to begin. Usually, my life is not very aesthetic. Most of my days are spent procrastinating, trying to find the motivation to do the simplest of tasks, beating myself up for not getting to-do lists done. I have ADHD, and learning to romanticize my own life has helped me so much do things like literally get up and go to school, like to have hobbies, and get up and actually try to accomplish my goals. And in no way do you need to do all of these or any of these even to lead a romantic life. But I hope that the things that I'm about to share in this video will help you find little ways that you can just implement a little bit extra joy into your day-to-day life and not just be constantly like waiting for happiness. I'm all about being realistic here. So they're all things that are budget friendly, very small changes that you can make that can make a huge difference. But first, a little disclaimer for this video. Of course, there are situations and things that we shouldn't try to romanticize. And I'm not saying that everything should be perfect all the time. It's not about trying to make your life the most aesthetic. There are so many things that we just cannot control in life. So where you do have some control, these are just some ideas for how to make small moments in your life a little bit more joyful where we can. So that no matter what your life and your situation is, you can still find moments of joy and beauty, even if it's something super small and simple. Because every single one of you deserves that. Take and leave what works for you from this list, or adjust what I say to fit into your life more personally. Okay, on with the video. I love you all. My very first tip is waking up in a more peaceful manner. Here's a little trigger warning, but I used to use this sound for my alarm. Horrible. If you are somebody who struggles to get out of bed, but you really have to get out of bed to like be somewhere, then do what you gotta do. But if you're able to switch out that sound for something a little bit more peaceful, I think that would be optimal. I switched out my alarm about a year ago for a faux sunrise alarm clock. It emits light into your room 30 minutes before you're supposed to wake up, sends signals to your brain or something to start waking up. I don't know, I'm not a scientist. You can set like bird sounds, you can set like a little tranquil, little peaceful song. Such a small thing, but it can make such a difference. Always get ready for the day. Power of literally just washing your face and at least putting on a little bit of skincare in the morning, I feel like will literally change your day. Personally, myself, I love doing my makeup. I kind of do it the exact same way every single day, but it feels like it's just this time that's literally me and myself in the mirror, just the two of us, and we're hanging out, and it's really nice, and it feels like kind of just this therapeutic start to my day. I talked about this in my how to get out of a slump video, but doing stuff like taking a little shower or just washing your face simply in the morning to kind of get yourself going, feeling a little bit more unmotivated, I feel like is so helpful. Same thing kind of goes for the morning and just jump starting your day. Making your bed, nothing else is done for the day, that's done. Learning how to make your favorite drink at home, something that you enjoy in the morning that you can kind of look forward to, that can be literally as simple as a matcha or your coffee, is really nice. I am somebody who absolutely loves vision boards and Pinterest boards. Love making Pinterest boards for every single season. So it doesn't have to be on Pinterest. You could physically print pictures out and make a little collage dream board for the seasons. I know this one sounds silly, but I honestly feel like this has been a huge inspiration for me, and it's just been something that's made me look forward to life so much more. For example, I grew up in Vermont where we have very, very long, cold winters, and winter was always something I absolutely dreaded. As soon as this first snow happened, I would get so sad, and I would basically spend from December till May when the snow melted feeling just sad and upset and mad at the snow. But about 3 years ago, I started making Pinterest boards for every single season, including winter. And I was like, hold on, wait, this is actually kind of cute. There's a lot of things that I could do that are fun, and I genuinely look forward to winter now. I feel like I've genuinely fallen in love with each season, which has just helped me so much more enjoy like where I'm at. Finding what's appealing and fun to do each season and learning how to romanticize each season, I feel like is really helpful because then you aren't just constantly waiting for what's next and you can really start enjoying the now. Like recently, I've been making my Pinterest board for spring and like summer. I've been pinning things like outfit inspiration and images that make me excited to get outside. Things that aren't crazy. I'm purposely not pinning images that look like they're taken in Paris, somewhere that I know I'm not going, because I want it to be realistic to my life. And it doesn't even have to be just for seasons. You can kind of do it with anything, especially things that you're feeling a little bit maybe unmotivated for. You need a little bit extra inspiration. Like for me, I have a school board that whenever I'm feeling really uninspired and unmotivated to do my homework or to go to school, I will scroll through and add to. I think Pinterest is also a cool tool because sometimes I really do feel like it takes seeing through another person's eyes to realize the beauty in something like a season or a place. It's like if you have a friend who grew up somewhere really different than you and then they visit your home and they're like, oh my god, this place is so cool, the snow is so beautiful, and you're like, what? And then slowly it opens your eyes to realizing what's around you. It also can kind of help you create an alternate ego to kind of step into. Like when I'm feeling really unmotivated with school, I always turn to my fall and school Pinterest board, kind of step into like, okay, what are the things that I can really romanticize about this season to kind of trick myself into enjoying the start of school, being a super scholarly, dark academia girly for a month, which in turn for myself is a really helpful tool to help me actually go to school. Okay, this one's kind of my mantra for this whole idea of romanticizing your life. Find the joy in everything you do and make everything you do joyful. Of course, there are things that we all do and things that happen that are just horrible. But for the things that we can control, actively trying to make things more joyful and to find the good in the things that we do is very helpful. For example, last week I had my finals and I was really not looking forward to writing various papers. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this an enjoyable experience, make it something I'm looking forward to. Literally bought this chair from TikTok shop. It's made sitting at my desk so much more enjoyable. I moved my desk in front of my window, especially because the leaves are starting to come out, which was so nice. And I was able to look outside while I was doing my work, which just made the experience so much more enjoyable. If you're about to work in your space for X amount of hours and sit at your desk, clean up your space first so that you're not worrying about the mess, you're not working in clutter, and you can really just focus on what you have to do. If you're trying to do homework and you hate working from home, find places that you do like to work. Maybe find a local coffee shop or a library with like a window that you look forward to sitting at. If you have to run errands one day, maybe if you can walk and it's a nice day, take some extra time, put in a podcast and walk to your errands. If you have a really long day at work or something, maybe wake up 10 minutes earlier than you're used to so that you can make yourself a coffee. You can stop at your favorite bakery on the way. Things like wearing a cute outfit that just make you excited about your day, playing some music in the car, or playing some nice music while you study to make the experience of studying just a little bit more enjoyable. Stopping on your walk somewhere to say hi to like the neighborhood cat. So many small things that you can add to your day that don't have to make your day amazing. You don't have to like put so much pressure on these things to make your day the best day ever, but they're just the little small things that can just be like a moment of joy. Nothing you can control should feel like torture. So if there's something like the gym that you don't like, replace it with some sort of movement that you do actually enjoy. You'll be more likely to stick to your goals because it'll be more fun and you'll get so much more out of it. As somebody with ADHD especially, and just constantly feeling like I'm fighting this big lack of motivation to begin on things, this has been so helpful to actually begin at the things that I need to get done, feel like I'm meeting deadlines and not letting people down, and be able to actually accomplish my own goals as well once I turn those things in my mind instead of this dreadful thing into something that's actually kind of nice. Make your spaces more personal to you. I've done this in my own life with basically all thrifted and vintage things that have cost under $5 and are also things that I've collected over time. Once you start curating your own life, your own space, your space feels so much more meaningful, which I feel like can just bring so much more joy and just the romantic aspect to your life. For example, this wallpaper I put up, and instead of putting it all over my room, which would have been really expensive, I just put it the inside of my closet doors, which I love the look of. It's also something you could literally do with wrapping paper, and it doesn't have to be overnight. Like, I finally found a pair of curtains that I love for my room at the thrift store for $5 that I had been scouring the internet for like 7 months. But it took me like 6 months to find a pair that I really like. So take it slow and add things with intention to your space. I'll link some like more affordable bedding options, but I feel like bedding is such a great way you can just make your space a little bit more personal to you. It's really just about the little things and adding little vintage especially touches to your space that'll just make it more personal. Here's some examples of some things I've switched out. Instead of using normal makeup storage, I love using vintage teacups and tea plates, which I usually find for like 50 cents to $1. To store my jewelry, I love this little crystal heart container. Keep this by my bedside for my most used jewelry. I used to always be shoving my medication into drawers because I didn't like the way it looked out. I use this vintage box actually to store it, and I never forget my medication now. And it's so cute. My boyfriend got me this vintage jewelry box, which is my pride and joy, and I love using baskets around my space to store things instead of like plastic containers, of which I've thrifted over time. I love hanging up vintage prints. You can get images printed at the printing store for super cheap. And another inexpensive trick I have is literally hanging up cards that you get that are really pretty. This is a really special one from my mom. Not only is it so pretty for my wall, but I will flip it open when I want to read it, which I just think is so special. You can make playlists for each season, which is something I absolutely love doing. I recently just made my playlist for spring, and like it'll probably bleed into summer, and I'm loving it. And something I love so much about this is it feels like it's like a soundtrack to your life. You've probably heard this 100 times, but I bet most of you have never even done it. I used to hear this one a lot, and I would think about it but never physically do it, and that is literally physically writing down the things that you're grateful for each day or once a week. Not only does it just make you more grateful and just realize the things in your life that are amazing, but it's a really useful tool in helping you to actually notice the little joys around you and the beauty that you do have around you in your life despite the things that aren't so great. Don't underestimate the power of wearing an outfit that brings you joy. Fashion is like such a simple way that you can add some creativity to your life, because literally all of us have to put on clothes every single day, so why not have fun with it? Developing your personal style can be something that happens over the course of your lifetime. I don't think it means going out and buying a brand new wardrobe overnight. I think that, in fact, buying slower and more intentionally and really building a wardrobe that feels really personal and special to you will feel so much more romantic. Not only is it going to be more sustainable for the earth and sustainable for your wallet, but it's going to just feel so much more meaningful because you know that each piece that you're wearing is something that you have chosen with so much intention. At some point I do want to do a video more in depth about how to actually go about finding your style. Another thing I want to say about this is that life is just too short to be dressing for the approval of other people or to make other people more comfortable. Sometimes it can be very anxiety provoking to wear that thing that you want to wear, but look, we are leaving feeling intimidated by people who are like, oh my god, why are you so dressed up today? Why are you wearing a dress to school today? In the past, okay? Obviously easier said than done. There's no reason to be making each other feel bad for wearing things that make us feel good. And there's no reason that you should be dressing for those people who are gonna make you feel that way. There's nothing silly or embarrassing about wearing an outfit that makes you feel happy. And you definitely don't need a special occasion to wear that thing that you wanna wear. So wear that dress, wear that outfit that you've been wanting to wear but are just too nervous. And I really do feel like it's one thing each day that can bring us just a little bit of extra joy. Finding ways to let go of perfection, I think, is key. If there's certain things in your life that you're holding back from doing because you're scared of not being the best at them or not even being very good at them at all, let go of that fear and try to replace it having fun with the process of learning something new, having fun with the process of sometimes not being that good at something, and learning how to laugh at yourself more. It takes a lot of practice to learn to laugh at yourself, but it's something I've been personally working on so much, is just enjoying the process of learning something and remembering that you don't need to be like perfect at something. And I think that also sticking with things through that kind of uncomfortable phase will create so much like self-trust in yourself and really better your own relationship with yourself. Once you free yourself from these expectations of perfection you're putting on yourself, everything else just becomes so much more joyful. Document your life. You can get a cute video camera off of eBay. Just take videos of you and your friends, you and your family, you in just quiet moments of your life that it's just you and yourself. I've heard of people who talk to their own camera just kind of like as a video diary, and they never post it to the internet or anything. You can take pictures on your phone obviously, but you could also get like film cameras, or I recently got a little camp PowerShot camera, like digital camera, that I'm really excited to use this summer, just to document like special moments of your life. And I don't mean, you know, like going out and doing photo shoots. I mean like taking videos, pictures of experiences when you're in them, when you're with people you love, and just documenting those moments. That's something I'm trying to do more of. Also, just day to day, I try to take like pictures of literally anything and everything, from my breakfast to the way my side table is looking to a flower I see on my walk. Just take pictures, and you start to realize like how beautiful just everything is, and how there's so much beauty in just everyday little simple things. You don't have to be out doing crazy stuff. That being said, I think the counter aspect of this is also knowing when to put the camera down. Some moments simply just cannot be captured by a camera. You're never too cool to be excited about things and find beauty in small things, so make the small moments big. I think we often feel pressure to act cool, or we get funny looks for getting too excited about the small things. But I think embracing that part of yourself and also surrounding yourself with others who not only embrace that as well, but don't make you feel silly for it is amazing. Even while making this video, I was like, is this video very cringy to make? But then I was like, you know what? I feel like it's that type of feeling of, oh, I'm being cringy right now for making this small moment feel big, what sometimes holds us back. So next time it rains, go ahead, open your window, listen to the sound of the rain, drink a cup of tea, act like you're in a movie. When you have a little self-care night, have an actual self-care night and make it like a whole event. Notice little things like the neighborhood cat who always crosses the street to say hello. The way the leaves look blowing in the wind. Your afternoon walk can turn into an afternoon walk where you put in your podcast, you pick up your local newspaper, you check your local little library. Grab ice cream after dinner. An afternoon where you sat outside for a couple hours literally just listening to the birds isn't an afternoon where you did nothing, it's an afternoon where you sat outside listening to the birds. How amazing is that? A key aspect to romanticizing your life is learning how to be more present, and a trick to do this is actively trying to use all of your senses. Take the time to notice what you hear, smell, see, and feel, as silly as that may feel, and give importance to all of those things that you notice. I think a huge part of romanticizing your life and finding beauty in your own life is also like literally creating beauty in your life. That leads me to talk about one of my favorite things ever, which is having a creative hobby. I hear all the time, oh, I'm not a creative person, like, oh, I'm not artistic, I couldn't ever do any of those things. And I just think that's not true. I think we all are creative people. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be someone who is an amazing painter or drawer. Or personally, I think any of those things can be learned. I also think there's a huge range of what is good. Just because with no training, I would like to add, you can't, make a perfect impressionist painting someone would mistake for a photograph. Doesn't mean you're not artistic. But I do truly feel like the human mind is creative, whether that's artistically, musically, maybe you love to write, maybe you love to problem solve certain things. There's so many things that are creative. The act of literally creating things with our hands, with our minds, is something that is just so special, and I feel like can add so much joy to your life. I think also with this, remembering to let go of perfection and just have fun with these things instead of feeling like this has to be the most beautiful thing in the world that's going to change the course of the universe and I'm gonna be a famous artist who sells my work for $10,000. Like, no, you can still be a creative person without that. My favorite creative hobby that I feel like I've really delved into this past year especially has been sewing. It's something that when I'm feeling really unmotivated and down in the dumps or down in a slump is something that I look forward to doing. You don't have to commit to one also. You can test and try different things, which can be really fun. And once you find something that you really enjoy, kind of delving in further and challenging yourself to learn, to improve, I feel like is also just something that can be a really exciting process. Depending on what you choose also, these can be very portable things that can come with you even into classroom and sometimes work settings. I myself, and I know several others of my peers, like bring knitting and crocheting. I've even brought embroidery to school before. Sometimes I doodle or draw in my notebook. Myself, as someone with ADHD, having something to do with my hands has always been important for things like school, help me actually focus more. And if your teacher shows you any sort of pushback about that, there's tons of studies out there that show that doing something creative with your hands doesn't mean that you're not listening and can oftentimes actually increase focus and concentration in classroom settings, which is really cool. Make those things, like maybe sitting in a 3-hour lecture, a little bit more fun and enjoyable. Personalizing things to you is such a great way to kind of romanticize your life. Part of romanticizing your own life, I think, is building a relationship with yourself, which I think means paying attention to yourself, what you like, what you don't like. Things like finding your style or decorating your space can happen over long periods of time where you make meaningful decisions about how to decorate, what pieces to add to your wardrobe. But you can even do it with things like finding your signature scent, your signature nail color, your signature lip color, your favorite book. Like some people people are very specific about their pens. You could literally find your favorite pen, favorite coffee shop, favorite window to sit at when you go to certain places, your favorite tree. There's literally so many things in life to make more personal that you don't need to even scream from the rooftop. That can just be little things for yourself that I feel like just makes life more fun, and it's just kind of a little ode to yourself, which is really sweet and something you deserve. Like I said, with your space and your style, it's not about going out and just buying a bunch of stuff tomorrow. I think the more time that you put into curating these things, whether it's weeks, months, or even years, it kind of adds to the specialness of it, and just the kind of act of finding the signature thing over a long period of time is kind of romantic and very cool. Finding organizational strategies that help you feel at peace in your mind and keep things from getting too chaotic. Something I've been working on for the past year, and I feel like I'm finally finding organizational strategies that really work for me. I have my Notion link down below, my whole Notion template, things like that, and learning that for myself, I really need to organize out like every single hour of my day, especially when I'm feeling extra unmotivated and extra just have so many ideas bouncing around. It really helps me to focus and feel more accomplished in the things I have to do. But maybe for you that's writing in a physical planner, or maybe you've noticed that you really work better in notebooks that have no lines, but figuring out like what works for you. Again, that process of finding what's personal and actually works for you can kind of be like this romantic process. And then once you do find it, I think it can just add so much peace to your life. Something I feel like we don't often think to do, but I definitely think can help you romanticize your life more, and is so easy, is doing kind of slower things that you don't really need to do anymore. Such as sending letters to your friends. Winter, I sent a bunch of Valentines, like physical Valentines that I made to some of my friends and my family, sent it to my grandma's, and I'm sure it was really fun for them to receive, and it was so fun for me to make them and send them out, and it felt just really good. It was like stuff like that you don't always have time to do, but when you do, I feel like second to write a letter to your friend who maybe is long distance, or if you live with your partner or someone, you could, leave them a little note in the morning. I feel like that's just a little thing that can add so much joy to someone else's day, as well as your own. Playing a record instead of a speaker, reading more books. I recently started reading my local newspaper. Guys, this is a PSA to read your local newspaper. There's so much going on in your area that I had no idea was happening, and I was completely missing all these years. There's also just like crosswords and like fun stuff to do. And I feel like in general, just finding more ways to connect to your own local community is a huge way that you can kind of romanticize your life and just find more joy in the space that you're at. Like I was saying earlier, there's just something really special about having a very nice interaction with somebody that you don't know. It always makes my day when I have like a good conversation with somebody at the grocery store, or I see someone on my walk in the early morning and they wave to me and like say good morning, and I say good morning back. There's something just very special about that. So I challenge you to do that more, to be that person who's like, hey, how are you? In addition to that, giving compliments. Why are we so afraid to say, oh my God, your outfit looks so cute? I feel like there's so many opportunities to make somebody else's day, which can kind of make your day too. And I feel like it's a goal of mine now to like compliment somebody I don't know, like at least once a week. But the last thing that I feel like I want to say is just with all of this, I think doing things with intention is the biggest way that you can kind of just romanticize your life a little bit more. Whatever you're doing, do those things with intention instead of just being like, ugh, I'm doing my makeup. Make it an experience. When you're getting dressed in the morning, make that an experience. Your drive to school, your drive to work, put on the songs that make you feel good and make that an experience. I hope you guys have been enjoying the video. I wanted to say that just at the end of the day, take and leave what you want from this video for what could easily fit into your life, and adjust things to fit better into your own personal life. The most romantic thing about romanticizing your life is that it's your life. Your life is going to look very different than mine. All of our lives are going to look very different, which is amazing. And your way of romanticizing it could also be very different than my way. For example, oh, can you hear the bullfrogs? They're getting really loud all of a sudden. Bullfrog ASMR for you. For example, for me, doing things like filling my space with pretty aesthetic things is something that brings a lot of joy to me personally, but that doesn't mean that you need to care about pretty aesthetic things if those stress you out or don't bring you joy. Maybe for you, making your room more personal to yourself is making it as comfortable as possible, making it as cozy as possible, getting a weighted blanket. And I just feel like that's a good example of showing how we can all approach romanticizing our lives very differently, which I think is really cool. The point is figuring out slowly how to find small ways to enjoy your everyday world, even if it's just one little moment each day, and slowing down to find the beauty in the mundane. It's not about trying to make your life look a certain way, match a certain aesthetic, or look like something you saw on the internet, but instead just something that's yours and something that brings you personal joy. And make the things that we can control in our lives a little bit more joyful. Just remember, it's all about the little things. The smaller the thing, the better, I'd argue. I hope you all really enjoyed this video. You don't have to do everything on this list. And even if just one thing on this list you feel a little bit inspired by, that's amazing. I love you all so much. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. It wasn't too cringy and you found it helpful. Let me know in the comments down below the ways that you romanticize your life or any suggestions you'd add. I'm very interested in hearing. I am so excited to be posting more on YouTube. I'm finally finished with school, so I'm going to be posting a lot more. So definitely subscribe if you are not already. Leave any video suggestions, requests down below, because I feel like I'm back. I'm back in my YouTube era. I'm feeling really inspired by YouTube recently. Anyway, I'm going to sit here and listen to the bullfrogs and the birds because they're going crazy today. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.